I want to mention Laken Riley just for a moment. Her father, Jason Riley, addressed the Georgia Senate a day ago, calling on Governor Kemp in Georgia and Joe Biden to recognize the border crisis as an invasion. Take a listen.
God gave me a beautiful daughter to father, protect, provide for, and nurture. A man with an evil heart stole her life. He was in this country and in this state illegally. Governor Kemp, please declare an invasion to detain and deport criminal illegals so we can prevent future families from those tragedies.
Senator, your colleagues in the Senate, Democrats, blocked the Laken Riley Act, which would have, you can make the argument that if the Laken Riley Act were in effect, this murder wouldn't have happened. Why is this bill not bipartisan?
Yeah, well, Rob, first of all, I wanted to stop and let Laken Riley's family know that we are mourning with her, that the entire nation is mourning with her. And to your point, what the Laken Riley Act would do is a criminal, an illegal migrant that's in this country, if they're arrested, they'd be detained, not let out on bail, cashless bail most of the time. So the Laken Riley Act forces when an illegal migrant commits a crime, they have to be detained and handed over to ICE and not set free. Look, Laken Riley would be alive if this bill had been enacted. It's that simple. It's part of a symptom of the big disease, this disease of 10 million people coming across our border illegally, over 2 million people with parole, which is how this illegal migrant that the alleged murder of Laken Riley, this is how he got into this country. He was one of the 2 million people that Joe Biden paroled from a very, very, very violent nation. He was part of a gang. He wasn't properly vetted. You know, there's just mistake after mistake on this issue, and it really rests on the back of Joe Biden.
Yeah, and Senator, so according to a new immigration report just out, 200,000 immigration court cases have been dismissed since the beginning of the Biden administration, all because the Department of Homeland Security failed to file paperwork. How concerning is this?
Well, all of it's concerning to us, right? Let me throw another statistic at you. There's 1.5 million illegal immigrants in this country that have been entirely through the process that are still in this country. 1.5 million people. Again, another 2 million people that have been paroled, another 2 million known gotaways as well. So it's all concerning to me. It's just basically the raw number of people that Joe Biden has allowed in this country, that's invited into this country. I keep using the term, he greases the skids. He's flown people in on American taxpayer dollars. The stories just go on and on and on. As my folks back home said, as we had the spike in crime in Kansas and in everywhere, every state is now a border state, that we can't arrest ourselves out of this crisis, that we have to secure the border. November cannot get here soon enough.
Yeah, and it's just ironic that Mexico as a country is categorically rejecting the Texas border law. So basically, Mexico doesn't want illegals that were in America illegally to be sent back to Mexico legally. It's confusing, but it's tremendously ironic. I want to move on and just ask you a question about your home state of Kansas. Primary was on Tuesday in Kansas. 10% of voters chose uncommitted or they checked none versus voting for Joe Biden. Now, Kansas is a red state. Eisenhower's from Kansas. You're from Kansas. But 10% of Democrats there don't want Joe Biden. What does that tell you?
Well, look, I would tell you this, is that people wouldn't walk across the street. A Democrat would not walk across the street to hear Joe Biden talk. The people that are excited about him, I've yet to meet. As opposed to President Trump people, they are loud and rowdy. They're ready to go vote. They're ready to do whatever they can to get President Trump elected. And that's what I think we're going to see in November, is just the Democrats are going to stay home. People that haven't voted for 4 or 8 years are going to come out and vote for President Trump. So that's what I think it says, is I can't wait until November. We need a change up here. We spoke to Prime Minister Bibi yesterday for a couple minutes, and it just reminded me of what a strong leader does for a country when you have a true North Star, when you're consistent, when you would do anything to protect your people. That's why we need Donald Trump back in office once again. We need that strong, steady hand that has a true North Star that's going to protect all of us, whose #1 priority is to make sure that our families are safe and secure.